John and Yoko, Mr. and Mrs. Lennon, I have an idea for a happening.
Oh.
Let's let the audience ask us anything that happens to be on its mind.
Wow, that's real crazy, Dick. I'd really like to do it.
Well,
far out, man.
Where's your nerve, baby? Oh, there's already a man in the aisle. How convenient. Yes?
I'd like to know how you write your songs and how you think your songs have progressed since you first started.
A man would like to know how I write my songs.
No, I prefer...
How you write your songs and how the songs have progressed since...
Since you first started.
Since you first started.
Well, there's many ways, all the combinations you can think of, either sitting at the piano and having a word that you write a song around, or having a word and playing the guitar, or you have a guitar chord change, any combination of that. The best ones are usually inspirational, which will just sort of come, you know, when you're not expecting it, and you just go and write it out almost in full. The earlier songs, in the early days, Paul and I, we wanted to be the Goffin and King of England, you know. Goffin and King were very big those days, and we used to want to be Buddy Holly and Goffin King, etc. And so we wrote pop songs with a kind of mind that that's a pop song, you know, like Bubblegum, and that's real life. And I used to write sort of in his own right, and the books I wrote then, like Spaniards in the Work, with one half of my brain, and the other half I sort of would churn out pop songs. And then with the advent of Dylan and a few other interesting people I'd meet or hear about, I suddenly realized I was being silly and that I should put all my energy into writing the song, into the lyric. So then I transferred any writing ability I had completely to the songs. And the song lyric got better and the structure of the words got better, and they became as important as the tune then. And then I think the songs are better. I've had a lot more experience than I had when I was 20. I'm older, and it's true you get more experience because there's just more time span, that's all. And so your songs get more experienced, and there is a tendency for them to get a bit, you know, like you can rip them off easy. But I try not to write songs anymore unless I really want to. You know, I don't no longer have to, oh, the Beatles need an album, you and Paul better go and write 20 songs tomorrow kind of thing. I just write when I feel like, you know.
That must be nice, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Cool. Let's say, here's a gentleman right here. How have drugs affected your music writing?
Drugs have not affected my music writing any more than cornflakes, living in America, not living in America, going on tour, living with 4 men, living with 1 woman. The drugs were no more a help or a hindrance to creating, and I don't believe in creation, but to writing songs than any other experience I've had in life. None was more important, i.e. drugs are not more important than my environment. I think my environment is more important than any drugs or outside influence that came when I was a teenager. I think most of the things I write about are basic things that come from me that I've had all my life, you know.
Man on the aisle there.
Do you listen to much music now? And if you do, what do you listen to?
Do you listen to much music now, and if so, what?
Well, I think like most artists, they get less time for listening to other people's music. You can either be an artist or the audience. Audience is always listening to other people's music. Artists are always creating their own music. I spend more time creating it and listening to my own because that's what I'm involved in. I like people like Yoko, of course. I like Zappa and a few people, Dr. John, and I like some the pop music. I can't think of it offhand. They're just odd records I like that come out. I still am a rock and roll fan of early Presley, early Jerry Lee Lewis and all those people. You know, that's the music I really love, is rock and roll.
Anyone have a question for Yoko, or a question you can ask Yoko through John? There's a lady there, or vice versa. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's no lady. This one.
Yell it out and I'll repeat it.
I want to know how you, as a woman, feel about overpopulation in the world and its relation to polluting the environment.
How does Yoko feel about overpopulation? As a woman, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is not overpopulation as people believe it to be, but it's more of the balance of things. What, you know, like food, some part of the world there's wastage of food, and in some parts, you know, nobody has food. That kind of a balance, if that is solved, I don't think we would be worried so much about overpopulation.
I think it's a bit of a joke the way people have made this overpopulation thing into a kind of myth. I don't really believe it, you know. I think whatever happens will balance itself out and work itself out. And it's all right for us all living saying, oh, well, there's enough of us, so we won't have any more. Don't let anybody else live. I don't believe in that. I think we've got enough food and money to feed everybody. And I think the natural balance, even though old people will last longer, I'm
think it's
sure
a
there's
question-
enough room for us, and some of them can go to the moon anyway.
You mean you think there's enough if it were
Yeah, I don't believe
distributed?
overpopulation, you know. I think that's just a kind of myth that the government have thrown out to keep your mind off Vietnam and Ireland and all the important subjects.
Oh, I think you're wrong about that.
Oh, I don't care.
Yes, gentleman there. He doesn't care.